Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa believes his country's economy is now on the growth trajectory after decades of decline.
In 2021, our economy grew by 7.4% and is projected to grow this year at 5.5%, which is above the sub-Saharan African growth projection of 3.8%. This strong economic growth is anchored on increased investor confidence, enhanced production and productivity in the manufacturing sector, infrastructure development, a buoyant mining sector, and a recovering tourism and hospitality industry. In addition, Zimbabwe recorded its highest ever foreign currency receipts since independence of nearly $10 billion last year.
However, analysts say what's actually reflecting on the ground is divorced from the president's assessment, and that the growth of an economy is measured by the kind of life its citizenry experiences.
When the president talks about a growing economy, you want to understand whether he actually appreciates and understands economic fundamentals. Because the growth of an economy is measured, the benchmark is productivity. In other words, if the industries are not working, if the infrastructure has collapsed and is dysfunctional, what is growing the economy? Because you can't talk about government getting monies in loans and grants and being pushed into public expenditure and building roads, and you're saying the economy is growing. Because the growth of the economy, let's take, for instance, employment. We want to find out how many professionals, how many students that come from universities are employed. We want to find out how many teachers are happy with their salaries, so they're able to generate enough money to be able to sustain their lives. So if they are not able to do that, then there's no economy. And fundamentally, what is important is look at the currency. The lightness of our currency, the devaluation of our currency shows that there is no economy, because a strong currency is only sustained by a strong economy.
Both economists and opposition parties believe the failure by Zimbabwean authorities to address inflation, which has led to the country's currency taking massive knocks against the US dollar in recent weeks, is further proof of the government's shortcomings. The country's currency officially trades at 159 Zimbabwean dollars to the US dollar, but change hands in the streets for as much as 400 to the greenback.
Everything is going down south. Things have really gotten very worse and bad. You look at, for example, the real disposable incomes. People don't have incomes because there's nothing that's functioning. Nothing is working. The currency is collapsing. Runaway inflation. If you look at what I would call real market, some would call it a parallel market. The US dollar is trading at 1:400 RTGS, or the bond. That tells you that the RTGS has been eroded 400 times from the time when Mr. Mnangagwa took over and he said they were 1:1. It tells you failure. There's a failure of government. There's failure of the economic policies. The economy is tanking. The economy is sinking. The economy is tanking. Nothing is working, and people are struggling. That's why they are in the neighboring countries, in South Africa, Botswana, Zambia, Malawi, Mozambique.
As prices of basic goods and services continue skyrocketing beyond the reach of many, analysts warn that the government needs to find a quick solution and avert an unfavorable outcome.
We are being classified as the poor of the poorest. In other words, our worth as a country could be measured in terms of how much lithium and how much gold we have underground. But our worth as a nation is measured to what extent do we afford to live in this country. So in this kind of a momentum that we are in, it means that we are going to get citizens that are getting poorer and poorer because they don't have a currency that can sustain their way of life. So ultimately, when 3/4 of the citizens get poorer, the only thing that occurs is a revolution. Because at the end of the day, the citizens will say, this government that we have in office cannot be able to sustain our lives. So the best thing is to remove it, not through elections, because they have no confidence in the electoral system. So they can only remove the government through an uprising. So if this government is not careful, they are watching and nurturing a simmering, environment of a revolution, and revolutions are not pretty.
Zimbabwe's economy has been in deep crisis for more than 20 years, and indications are that Zimbabweans will have to endure more skyrocketing prices of basic commodities and services. Khalihle Khumalo, SABC News.